So it's everyone's favorite time of year again, it's tax season. And if you're American or Canadian, doesn't really matter, the government actually has accounts out there available for you to maximize your returns. In Canada, one of these accounts is called the RRSP. And what we're going to be doing today is discussing the RRSP. And if you're an American viewer, I do want to encourage you to comment down below and let me know if you do want to see a video on the American version of this. I'd be glad to make one for you guys, but the concepts from this video are very similar to the American version, so stick around for this video, you might learn something new anyways. And guys, if you appreciate learning about this and you want to learn how to save for your future, drop a huge like on this video. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes. So okay, so first let's get the definition out of the way. What is an RRSP? I'm sure you've heard that term before, and it stands for Registered Retirement Savings Plan. You can tell that's a very long statement right there, so that's why we call it the RRSP. So the intention of this account is to encourage you and to help you save throughout your working life so that you have a comfortable retirement. The government offers this to all citizens that are under the age of 71, and honestly, from my experience, this is something that a lot of people completely overlook, do not understand, or a combination of both. So just like a margin or cash account or a TFSA account, an RRSP is just another type of account. Within this account, you can hold whatever investment you want, whether that's stocks, whether that's bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, or you could even simply hold cash in this account. Sometimes if you're working for an employer, typically larger employers, they'll actually encourage you and help you contribute to your RRSP from every paycheck, and some employers will even match this RRSP contribution, doubling contributions in your account every single month in your RRSP for free. However, there is another option, whether your employer does this or not. You can also go ahead and create a separate account in your favorite brokerage or your bank or wherever that is, Questrade, Scotia, BMO, doesn't matter. You can open up an RRSP account in there and put money in there yourself as well. Also, one interesting to note is that there's no limitations on how many RRSP accounts you can have. So you can have an account with BMO, you can have an account with Questrade, you can have an account with Manulife, doesn't matter. So why would you use an RRSP? So like I said, the obvious point is that it helps you save for retirement, but on top of this, there are a few more benefits that you need to know as well. So say, for example, this year you owe tax to the government based on your income. Well, with an RRSP contribution, you can actually help offset those taxes and not owe the government anything for that year because you've contributed to your RRSP instead. And the best part is once you've contributed to the RRSP, you can throw it into an investment like the S&P 500, for example, and just have this money grow over time. Like I said, this is a tool the government is providing us to help us save our money, save paying taxes, and encourage growth for our retirements. The other big benefit of an RRSP versus other accounts is that it lets you grow your investments tax-free. So this means you don't get taxed on any investments that you have in your account, whether that's dividends or capital gain. You will only get taxed on these investments when you pull it out of the RRSP. So now you can already see by this point there are massive benefits for opening an RRSP, contributing in there, and having long-term investments in this account. So in my opinion, I believe everyone should have an RRSP, no matter what tax bracket you're in, and depending on the circumstances, which we'll go over later in this video, if you contribute to your RRSP every single year, throw it into something like an index fund like the S&P 500, like we said, and just have it grow over 20, 30, 40 years, you're gonna end up with a lot of money saved aside for you for retirement. Now, just to get an idea of how much money you can earn from something called compound interest, I did make a video on this, so I'll link it up here as well as in the description. I encourage you to watch this video, understand this concept, because it is going to make a huge difference in your life, whether that's in your investment life, personal life, doesn't matter. This concept will actually change the way you think about money and actually make a huge difference for you in the long run. So like I said, if you want to watch that, check it out after this video. Link will be in the description down below. So now here's where you need to pay attention. There are 5 very important things you need to know when it comes to an RRSP. Okay, so the first thing is every single year you have a new contribution limit. That's calculated by either the lesser of 18% of your income or the maximum amount set by the government. So whichever one is less is what you have to go by. And if you over contribute or add more than this limit, you will get penalized and you will get charged taxes on it. Second is that you are able to take out up to $25,000 for your first home from your RRSP. But the caveat is that you need to pay this back within the next 15 years to not incur any penalty. Now, the third point is actually similar to the second point, and this is that you can take up to $20,000 or $10,000 annually from your RRSP for future education. So if you wanted to go and take a couple of courses, you can take this money out as well. But just like the home plan, you do have to pay back this amount within the following 10 years. The fourth thing to note is that there are penalties for taking out money if it isn't for either of those two reasons from your RRSP before retirement. The biggest thing is that there is a 30% withholding tax that is charged. And the other thing to note is that when you take this money out after those taxes are charged, it may put you in a higher tax bracket if you have any more income for the year, and then you might get charged even more tax on top of that. And the fifth and final thing you need to understand about the RRSP is that when you take out money from the RRSP, if it isn't for the first home or your education, that contribution room that you've taken out, so you take out $10,000, will be lost forever, and you will not be able to put that $10,000 in the following year like the TFSA works. So now, depending on your financial situation, it might actually be better for you to go open up a TFSA, which is another type of account the government offers, and max that out before you start contributing to your RRSP. So the first is that if you're in a lower tax income bracket, the RRSP might not be a big benefit to you. The reason is because, like we discussed, the RRSP actually really helps offset taxes depending on the tax bracket that you're in. So I would save that contribution room for future years if you expect your income to increase and put you in a higher tax bracket. That's when you want to look into contributing to an RRSP. But until then, it may be better to contribute into your TFSA. The second point is that if you need the money in the next few years, I would personally put the money into a margin or cash account or a TFSA account, because like I said, if you put it into an RRSP, there are penalties for pulling it out, and that contribution room will be lost forever. But on the flip side, if you're in a higher tax bracket and you want to lower the amount of tax that you owe the government, you can contribute into your RRSP. Or if you want to go put some money in there and just not look at it until retirement for the next 20, 30, 40 years, then you look into an RRSP, because that's exactly what it's designed for. Now, I also want to note, although I'm not sponsored by them, that Questrade actually has a great offer right now for their RRSP accounts. So I do have an affiliate link in the description for Questrade, so if you're interested, you can click that link and sign up. It's going to be no charge to you, and it'll actually help support the channel. So now, the reason you may want to open up a Questrade account right now is that typically if you have an account, say with Manulife or Sun Life or your bank or whoever it is, you're not happy with the investment choices that you have in there, because it's typically pretty limited when you're investing through something like Manulife or Sun Life. You can actually transfer in that money in your RRSP from your Manulife, for example, into your Questrade account, and Questrade will cover any fees. So that brings me to my next point. Typically when you want to transfer the money from one RRSP account to another, there is a fee that the original RRSP account company charges you, and this fee can range anywhere between $25 or even $150. But Questrade currently has a promo up until the end of March where they'll cover up to $150 per transaction. So this may be the best time to open up a Questrade account, move that money into this Questrade RRSP account, and have more control over your investments. Now, the government does not pose any limitations on how many RRSP accounts you can have, so you can continue to have your account with your bank open in RRSP, Manulife, Sun Life, and even in Questrade, have them all open. There is no penalty, there is no downside to that. It's just that your contribution limit across all your RRSPs do add up, and you gotta make sure you don't go over that so you don't face any penalties. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I'm currently in the process of transferring my money from my current broker to Questrade. I'm not happy with the current broker. I don't want to ever shout them out on this channel, so don't ask me what broker I'm currently using. But either way, I am transferring it all to Questrade right now, and Questrade will be covering those transfer fees. So I will update you guys if there are any hiccups that I experienced, but so far it's been pretty smooth. It can take anywhere between 10 and 20 business days for this transfer to complete, so I would advise you to do this sooner rather than later. Also, just a reminder, if you do want to contribute to your RRSP to lower your taxes from last calendar year, you have to get that done before the end of February of the next calendar year. So for example, if you want to reduce your taxes from 2018, you do have to get that contribution into your RRSP before the end of February 2019. Now, I know that there's going to be a lot of questions because there was a lot of information thrown at you in this video. So please comment down below with any questions that you have, and I will be replying to every single one of those questions. I'm here to help you guys better your financial situation. I'm here to answer any questions you guys may have so that you better understand this and set yourself up for a more successful financial future. So guys, if you appreciate this video, again, drop a huge like. Let's get 100 likes on this video. But either way, I hope you learned something from this video. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.